Today we're going to learn about the past tense of irregular verbs in English. We use the past tense when we talk about something that happened before now, for example, yesterday, last week, or last year. Many verbs in English are regular, and they form the past tense by adding ed. However, many very common verbs are irregular, which means their past form is different and must be learned. First, remember that in English, the past simple form of most verbs is the same for all subjects. Only the subject pronoun changes. For example, with the verb make, we say, I made dinner last night, you made dinner last night, she made dinner last night, we made dinner last night. The verb made does not change. This is different from the present tense, where we say he makes or she makes. Let's look at some common irregular verbs and their past forms. For example, the verb go becomes went in the past. I went to the supermarket yesterday. The verb come becomes came. He came to my house on Monday. The verb eat becomes ate. The family ate dinner at a restaurant. These verbs change form, so we need to remember their past versions. Here are some more examples of irregular verbs in sentences. She took a picture with her camera last week. We got some clothes at the department store. They gave us directions to the garage. I found a new jumper at the clothes store. Notice that the verbs took, got, gave, and found are all past forms of irregular verbs. Some irregular verbs have very different forms. For example, I bought new shoes yesterday. We drove to the city last weekend. He wrote a book. She drew a picture in art class. Other verbs change only a little, such as run, ran, sit, sat or speak, spoke. For example, he ran in the park yesterday. I sat on the chair this morning. You spoke English with your sister. Some irregular verbs stay exactly the same in the present and past. A good example is put and read. For instance, you put on your new jumper yesterday. He read a book from the library last night. Even though read is spelled the same, the pronunciation changes in the past. Now let's look at questions in the past tense. To make questions in the past simple, we use the auxiliary verb did. The structure is did plus subject plus base verb. For example, did you go to the cinema yesterday? Did she buy new clothes? Did they have breakfast this morning? Notice that after did we use the base form of the verb, not the past form. We also use did to give short answers. The structure is very simple. For positive answers we say yes plus subject plus did, and for negative answers we say no plus subject plus didn't. For example, did you go to the supermarket? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Another example, did they have breakfast? Yes, they did. No, they didn't. We can use these verbs when we talk about jobs and daily activities. For example, we often ask about jobs with the question, what do you do? This question asks about a person's job. For example, hello, I'm Jenny. Nice to meet you, I'm Jack. What do you do? I'm a waiter. I work at a restaurant. Another example could be, I'm a teacher. I work at a school. I teach students and help them learn English. Irregular verbs are also useful when we describe things people did at work. For example, the waiter brought food to the customers, the teacher gave homework to the students, the guide took tourists around the city, the worker found a solution to the problem. These verbs help us explain past actions in everyday situations. To summarize, irregular verbs are very common in English, and their past forms are different from regular verbs. The past form is usually the same for all subjects, and we use did to make questions and short answers. Learning these verbs will help you talk about past experiences, daily activities, and work situations more easily.